How did you become the neighborhood dad? I moved into this neighborhood with one goal: peace. No drama, no noise, just me, my wife, and whatever quiet version of adult life I thought I deserved. Then I looked out my front window one afternoon, and there was a kid standing on my lawn in 90-degree heat, just staring at my door like he was waiting for an appointment. I don't even like kids, but I also couldn't watch a child melt onto my property, so I went outside and asked what was going on. He said his parents weren't home. I stood there for a second and then just said, "Come inside." I gave him a bowl of ice cream. We sat at the kitchen table. He told me about his day, his friends, genuinely cool little dude. When his parents pulled up, I walked him out and went back inside thinking, all right, good deed done. One-time thing. Moving on. The next afternoon, I opened my front door and there were 7 kids standing on my lawn, just standing there, waiting. Apparently, this kid went back and told every single person within a 2-block radius that I was the greatest man alive and there was free ice cream involved. So now they'd all showed up to verify. I told them I wasn't running anything, that they needed to go home, and I closed the door. They came back the next day and the day after that. For an entire week straight, these kids showed up at my house like I was on their schedule. By day 6, it was so hot I genuinely started to worry about them. So I went inside, grabbed a full box of ice cream bars, and handed them out one by one. That was it. That was the moment. I became the neighborhood dad. We started playing games outside. Then it got too hot and they migrated inside for video games. My wife would walk through the living room, look at 6 kids spread across her floor with controllers in their hands, and walk back out without saying a single word. The silence was louder than anything she could have said, but I wasn't apologizing. You don't get the childhood experience back. What I didn't expect was the intelligence operation. These kids started telling me everything. Their home drama, their parents' drama, who was fighting with who. I knew more about this neighborhood in 2 weeks than I'd learned in 2 years of living here. So when I'd drop them off and a parent would come outside, I just casually let something slip. One dad walks out and I go, "Hey, hope that basement situation gets sorted out soon. Summer rain doesn't help. Just smile." The look on that man's face was worth everything. I did it 3 more times across different households before I realized these kids had essentially made me the most informed man on the block. It went on for weeks. Then one evening we just lost complete track of time. The game was going, everyone was having fun, and by the time I loaded them all into my truck and pulled back onto the street, it was fully dark outside. Every single parent was standing in front of their house, arms crossed. I dropped each kid off in silence. Nobody said anything nice. When I got home, I told my wife it was probably over. She sat up straight, looked relieved for the first time in a month. The next morning I walked into the kitchen and looked out the front window. All 7 of them, on my lawn.